all the tricks.
Nobody can pass that ball through the heart of the lane.
6. You want to put on a show here.
Yo, shout out to Fluent for making that up for us, man. That was fire. But again, welcome back to LAKERLAND. Yep, LAKERLAND, baby. LAKERLAND. I'm happy to be here with my guy Seven. No ZZ though, but it's fun. Me and Seven got this, and we got something. We got a surprise for you guys as well. But before we start, Seven, how you doing, man?
Man, where we at? Episode 9?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You already know how we are coming, man. Purple and gold skies. Salute to LAKERLAND, man. We are here live in full effect, man. Shout out to the NBA community. Shout out to Lakers Nation. And, of course, most importantly, shout out to our Players' Choice family. We got an unbelievable show this evening. Y'all already know how we rock, so we definitely appreciate you guys in LAKERLAND, man. So, as Ryan had announced, ZZ is out this week on load management. But, shout out to our partner in crime. But it's all good, man. We got another star. We signed to a one-day contract. I'm about to bring him up. Most of you guys, if y'all familiar with the Lakers on YouTube, you should be familiar with our guest who's going to be joining us this evening. So we're definitely about to get things started, rocking and rolling. Let me bring up our special guest, the big homie, Dan, the Lakers fan, is joining us this evening. Dan, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing today, man? Thank you guys so much for having me.
Man, my pleasure, bro. I appreciate you, bro.
Blessings, man.
I'm excited to see what we got today.
Yeah, man, we got a classic show, man. So you guys make sure y'all smash that like button. If you're new to the Players' Choice platform, make sure you subscribe and join the membership. Become a part of the Players' Choice family. Like I said, we got an unbelievable episode number 9 coming up. I'm going to give my brother Dan a couple minutes and a few to talk about his platform and what he got going on. But are you guys ready to start the show?
Yo, yeah, before we start, you know how I am, Seven. I like to ask random questions throughout the stream. Dan, sorry. Dan.
Yeah.
Who's your GOAT, man? Like
Kobe Bryant, man. Bean.
Okay.
Always will be, man. He's actually the reason I got into basketball in the first place.
Fire.
My family, diehard Laker fan. So Kobe Bryant's my guy, man. Always will be.
Got you. Now, is that an emotional take or is that like, just
Nah, man. Honestly, like if we talk about the body of work, I always said it, man. Kobe Bryant's the Bruce Lee of basketball. Gone too soon, but he's that guy who just set a foundation, not just for basketball, but like a lifestyle, man. He's the reason I got my own YouTube channel. So
fire. I respect that. Just wanted to see where you were at, but I respect that answer.
Appreciate it. But yeah, man.
So
a lot of goats.
Wait a minute, Dan. Why not LeBron?
Okay. Well, first of all, you can't be part of it used to be 3-6 Mafia. Now it's 4-6 Mafia. You know what I mean? Because he might end up with 5 chips. Right now, he got 4 in 10 finals appearances. I just, I'm all about efficiency when it comes to making the finals. You can't be my GOAT if you got 6 finals losses. And I love LeBron. No disrespect to Bron, but that's just how I feel about King, man.
So why isn't Jordan your GOAT then?
Well, I didn't get to see Jordan play. Like I'm too young for that. So, I personally, I always felt like picking a GOAT has to be something subjective, right? So who you grew up watching in their prime, that's probably who you're going to pick as a GOAT. This is why I think it's just such an open-ended convetion, and there's so many debates about it, right?
That's just me. That is Dan. One thing about me, you're gonna find out is Seven's already finding out throughout the weeks. I like to stir the pot, and that's what I like to do. So yeah, I just wanted to start off good, but yeah, Seven, go ahead and take over.
All right, man. Let's get into tonight's show, man. I figure we freestyle things just a little bit to get the show started. So let's spin the LAKERLAND wheel and see what we'll be talking about. Let's get into it.
Okay.
That was fire. Lakers' biggest need. All right.
Biggest Let's talk about it. So, Dan, I'm gonna start off with you, brother. Going into this upcoming season, what's one thing that comes to your mind when we talk about the Lakers getting over the hump this season versus what happened last year?
Well, I think it's just camaraderie, man. Remember, last year we made a trade at the trade deadline, and they basically had from that point on to figure it out for the rest of the season. So, in my opinion, what the Lakers need is time, right? I doubt we'll get off to another 2-10 start. However, I don't want people to panic. We'll get off to like a 5-5 start because remember, there's a lot of new parts coming in. Not saying that I anticipate that. I said we got to be patient with this team. They got to incorporate different pieces in here. We got to give Darvin Ham time to learn how to use the tools at his disposal. So I'll say the biggest need is time. We got to give these guys time to gel together.
Word. I respect it. What about you, Light Out?
I like that answer. Is time. I think what the Lakers did last season, going all the way to the Western Conference Finals without, like he said, without having time to really play together as most teams were. Like we look at that Nuggets team, they've been together for years, and so they could finally reach the mountaintop and win. But my biggest need right now, I want to see how Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis play as big men, because I feel like that's when that's our biggest mountain, in my opinion. I don't see anyone as real threats minus the Nuggets. And I just want to see if Jackson Hayes and Anthony Davis can figure out a way not to stop Jokic, right? Because Jokic is unstoppable, but at least make it difficult enough that we could affect the game and win the game throughout 4 out of 7 times. So that is my biggest need. Maybe look at the big man rotation, see how we defend big men like Jokic, Joel Embiid, Giannis. I just want to see how we defend that. That is the thing that I'll be looking for this season. But besides that, Dan nailed it. I think we didn't have time. Now we have time, and we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I think timing is everything. I think timing is going to be really instrumental. I'm just really interested to see how our guys play when we got all these new rules and regulations, and then the eligibility requirements to be all NBA. You hear Anthony Davis with expectations of playing 82 games. Like, I'm just real excited to see how things are going to develop in LA. Keep it real with you.
That is crazy that Anthony Davis said that. I love AD. I want AD to win MVP. I want AD to win MVP, but let's be serious with each other. He's only playing 60 plus. And that's still a lot of games. That's still a lot of games for Anthony Davis.
Let me ask you this though: as a Laker fan, wouldn't you want exactly him to play 60 games and be healthy for the postseason? I personally prefer that than him playing 82 games. But I think it is a good goal of him. Remember, he's been working on his body this offseason. I think it's a great goal for him to set that type of standard and to have like a team first mentality. Like, I want to be there for the team. Yep. But yeah, realistically, like you said, bro, you touched on it. 60 games, maybe even less, maybe 50 games if I'm being quite frank. Because we have the horses in the stable, as LeBron called them yesterday in media day. Yeah. We have the horses in the stable to now compete, even when those guys take off nights or if they just play like one half or we get a big lead. We have the pieces to keep that lead, keep building on it. Now it's all a matter of them just, defining each player's role. But you're absolutely right. I don't want to see him 82 games personally as a Laker fan.
No. And although I think AD, like, this is more of a redemption year for him because, the last couple seasons, who has been the face of injury prone? It has been Anthony Davis. Although there's other players like Kawhi Leonard, Paul George that have played less games. He has been the face of, being injury prone because he's playing with a guy like LeBron James who the lights are always on him. So I feel like this is a redemption arc for him. Maybe he plays more than 60 games and maybe we're seeing a guy that can win MVP. But I don't want to get my hopes up, and I think AD should just focus on the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Dan, when you look at this roster that we're going into the season with, how impressed are you that this could be a roster to finish this 82-game season, or do you think that there's going to be a shakeup before this thing is over and done with?
Great question. You know what? We have a very deep roster right now on paper. We got to kind of see it play out a little bit and see if there's going to be any odd man. Now, like I have question marks. Like I love D'Angelo, but I have question marks about him if he's going to be able to. Let's just say that Gabe Vincent ends up outplaying him and he loses his starting spot, right? I'm not saying that's probably because I feel like Gabe Vincent is a bench player who's the perfect for somebody. Like, let's just say he's struggling in the playoff series. D'Angelo is. You can always go to Gabe. He already has playoff experience, been to the finals. And in my opinion, he was the second or third best offensive player on that Heat team which I think is very underrated through the finals run, right? So I think watch out for something. Maybe if D'Angelo doesn't buy into his role, which I hope he does. I love the kid, right? We drafted him; he's one of ours. But if he doesn't pan out for whatever reason, he's getting cooked defensively, then maybe that's something you can look at. He has a very movable contract. Teams like to get involved whenever it's a 1-year deal, stuff like that. It is a player option, I believe, or is it a team option? Not sure. But it's
a team option.
Oh, even better. So it makes this contract even more tradable. So that's one of the very few things I would look at. Other than that, man, I like our roster, man, through and through.
Look, I don't want to be the guy with bad news, but Gabe Vincent, slowly for me, I love Gabe. I was watching him in the Heat. I'm located in Florida, so I've been rooting for the Miami Heat last year when the Lakers got eliminated, right? I was rooting for Miami, and I've been seeing Gabe Vincent slowly but surely. This man's turning a little overrated for me. I don't know. A little overrated. Not in the sense that he had a bad playoff run.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that Gabe Vincent is gonna be, and it's just history repeats itself, right? And I said this last show. LeBron James has this thing with players that are called knockdown shooters, knockdown scorers, don't perform with LeBron James. And I'm not saying he's not gonna perform. I just don't think he's gonna be good enough to take D'Angelo Russell's spot. And I think D'Angelo Russell did an amazing job last year. I just think people are just taking what happened in Denver versus the Lakers and taking that as if he played like that the whole year. He was a main points on why we went far in those playoff reasons. Like I mean, D'Angelo Russell shows up. The only problem is that the Nuggets had a great game plan against D'Angelo Russell, and maybe the lights were shining way too bright. But I do think D'Angelo Russell is our guy. He's an all-star. He led Brooklyn to the first round. He has experience with the Golden State Warriors. Did not play so good in Minnesota, I'll say that. But in the Lakers, I mean, he has been playing great. I'm gonna defend D'Angelo Russell, and I think D'Angelo Russell is our starting point guard.
Well, to my point though, I will say I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying, if there's one weakness, it's his defense. No matter how we twist it and turn it defensively, he's going to get hunted. And as that was kind of exposed as one of our weaknesses, I think he can struggle at times. And my thing though, the reason I mentioned him coming up in trades, and we shouldn't have, it's way too early in the season, but
exactly, yeah.
Hypothetically would just be because he's unhappy with his role. Not enough touches, not enough shots, and therefore maybe he won't get the contract he's yearning for, right? The next big contract. So that's the only reason why. But I do like your points. I agree. But I do disagree that Gabe Vincent is overrated. I think, if anything, he's a bit underrated. That finals run that happened last year was no fluke, and they did that without Tyler Hero, and he was a huge part of that, man. And I don't see him as a shooter per se. I see him more as a facilitator, defender, and at times he can knock down a shot. So I don't think the pressure will be much.
We'll see. I just look. I'm not. I haven't bought in. I haven't bought in on Gabe. I haven't just yet.
All right, guys. This is good conversation, man. You be rocking and rolling, man.
Yep.
All right.
You there? Yep.
Give me 1 second, fellas. Okay. Y'all still with us?
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm here.
Okay. Was having a little bit of a technical issue, but we about to get rocking and rolling, man. We got another crazy show. As always, make sure you guys smash that like button here at LAKERLAND on Player's Choice. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and become a member of the Player's Choice family. As you see, we got Dan, the Lakers fan, in the building joining us tonight. Let's kind of recap and give some takeaways from Media Day yesterday that the Lakers had, fellas. Dan, what was your biggest takeaways yesterday from Media Day?
My biggest takeaway was actually that, these guys are poised, motivated, and sounds like they're going to buy in. It sounds like everybody's on the same page. I heard guys like Christian Wood come out and say he's willing to accept any role, whether it's off the bench or starting. I heard a common theme that is, championship number 18. So I'm very excited to see how that chemistry plays out moving forward. But I like what I'm hearing, man. Everything sounds positive. D'Angelo touched on it. He said, from the moment he got here, the chemistry vibes were positive. And so we want to keep building on what they did last year, which was the common theme. So I'm excited for all of the above, man.
I'm excited for RuiHachimura.
I was surprised, fellas, that the starting five really isn't in concrete, according to what I was listening to yesterday. Like, they have 4 of the 5 already established, but there's still question marks. You know, Vando had a lot of minutes at that spot. They don't know if it's going to be him, Rui, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes. How do y'all think this starting 5 should actually lay out?
I think Dan, you could go ahead. I people already. All right, so I'm just gonna make it quick because I think everyone knows how I would do it, but then I'll hear from you. Me personally, I think the starting 5 should be D'Lo, should be Austin Reeves, them in the backcourt. Then we got Bron, Rui, and AD. I feel like that should be the starting 5. And then, you know, play Rui and Vando, you know, like as soon as Rui gets out the court, you put in Vando, but make sure there's a score now in the team because, you know, once you put in Vando, he's a liability on the offense. So get an offensive 5 with them. So besides that, I do like this team is flexible. You can put in Vando with Christian Wood coming off the bench. You got a scorer from Christian Wood, Gabe Vincent coming off the bench as well. I mean, this team is so well rounded. So you could do it anyway, but I'll have Rui over Vando in that starting 5.
Yeah, I like your starting 5.
I just wish there was.
Go ahead, sorry, brother. Go ahead.
I wish there was a way. No, it's all good. I wish there was a way that AD could just play the 4. You know, that's my biggest thing. If we had someone established and committed at that big man spot at the 5, I want Anthony Davis playing the 4. I really don't want him playing the 5, but it feels like that's what he's going to be stuck with.
And unfortunately, unfortunately, that's what's going to happen because although maybe he doesn't want to play the 5, he does a great job playing the 5. That's the biggest problem. Like, the Lakers are seeing how good he's doing at the 5. I mean, he was one of the main reasons. His defense was one of the main reasons why. Oh man, it's got a cramp. His main reason that he went to the defense, dude. I got the illest cramp right now. Oh my god. Oh
man, my man got the he got the LeBron groin injury. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's tough.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I was saying.
What you think?
Keep going. Go without me. Go with.
So my opinion on the starting 5 situation, man, is that to me, it don't matter who starts. I'm more concerned about who's going to finish games, you know, and what type of adjustments Darvin Ham is going to do on the fly. Because I feel like that's one department where he's got to get better at making in-game adjustments. Like, he was a tremendous, he overachieved last year as far as, you know, as a rookie coach, making it to the Western Conference Finals. Tremendous job by him. So I don't want to take no credit away from him. But if there's one place where he could improve, I believe it is in-game adjustments. And so I can't wait to see when those 4th quarter hits and it's like a 2-3 point game. What are the closing lineups? And then if that's not working, you know, how many minutes does it take for you to, you know, call a timeout and make the proper adjustments? However, I do have a preference at starting lineup, and I agree with you, 7. I think you know, I would love to see AD back at the 4, where he can maybe, you know, get some of that defensive pressure taken off of him. He doesn't have to be the last line, do the dirty work, and maybe he could focus a little bit more on the offensive end. Because people underestimate what it's like to have to do everything, right? People criticized AD last season because he had to defend, he had a rebound, and then they wanted him to drop 20 plus, right? It's not easy, especially in the playoffs where the game slows down. So I would love it if, you know, they rotated somebody at the 5. Maybe they split the minutes like we did in 2020 between Dwight and JaVale. Maybe they do that with Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood. I don't know. But I would love it if we had some sort of rotation where those guys get to see some 5 and AD gets placed where he wants to be at the 4.
Now, we're going to time travel a little bit later on in the show because we're going to talk about Anthony Davis, and we're going to tap into if he can actually lead this team without LeBron James in the future. But we're going to get into that later. But I had mentioned earlier, fellas, that AD had spoken on playing 82 games as an expectation. What was your reaction, Dan, when you heard 80?
Yeah, did it cut off? You guys still there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were saying, what's your reaction of him, you know, wanting to play 82 games?
You know what? I like
can you
the
hear
mentality.
Me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. I like his mindset is in the right place, right? His heart's in the right place. I think if I'm the Lakers, I'm not going to allow that to happen.
Don't listen to that fool. No.
Yeah, even with the new you know, stuff in place, we can pay a couple of fines if needed be. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is the most important thing is getting him and LeBron James, you know, healthy into the playoffs. That's the bottom line. And of course, hopefully we get a top 4 seed in the West to go with that. I think those are the 2 goals we should have.
Yeah.
That way we can have home court throughout the first round and then set the tone moving forward.
Yep.
But I love his mindset. I love what everybody said, if I'm being quite frank, in social media. Yeah, but it usually is like that, right? It sounds amazing. Day one, nobody can do no wrong, and then we start developing issues here and there. So hopefully it's smooth sailing all the way through.
1000%.
I was impressed, fellas, with Christian Wood. I was listening to Christian Wood on Media Day, and the humbleness that he has, but the hunger that you can hear behind it. Like, I'm really embracing him, and I look forward to seeing what he can do for this Lakers team. Light Out, I know you had mentioned RuiHachimura, and he's been a topic of discussion because people feel like he's slimming down, like he's losing a lot of weight. And he spoke on that, saying basically the picture that they're talking about, he was standing next to LeBron James. So what do you expect? But what's your expectations personally, Light Out, when we talk about RuiHachimura?
Scary season. That's what I expect. I expect a very scary season for RuiHachimura. The man has been training with LeBron James. LeBron, I mean, that's an honor already, training with LeBron James. And trust me when I say this, they both are basically, they have the same style, not style of play, but the same type of body type, right? And like LeBron could understand his body. He knows how to train his own body, which are giving him tips of, how Rui should do it. So I expect nothing but greatness from RuiHachimura. RuiHachimura is the real deal, Big Japan. I'm excited, man. I'm very excited for these Lakers this year.
Yeah, I am. I'm ecstatic, man. This season to me is definitely going to be one of the best ever in the NBA period. In the NBA period, I feel like it's going to be one of the best, no doubt, man. This is Lakerland, people. Make sure you guys smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're about to get into halftime of the show. As you guys know, we got our special guest, Dan, the Laker fan, joining us this evening. Dan, I know you got something special going down on your platform tonight. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes so you can just let the people know what you have going on and, where they can follow you at and all that other good stuff, brother. Oh,
for sure, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, so pretty much, I cover the Lakers from end to end, 365 days a year. If anything happens, you guys know where to find me for breaking news, man. Dan, the Laker fan, or DTLF on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter as well. Tonight, man, though, we got a side show that, I like to call Around the League. And me and my co-host will be announcing something really special, man. I think people are going to want to tune in to see. So definitely check it out, man. DTLF is the channel. You guys know where to find me. Appreciate you, bro. Thanks for the plug, man. Not a lot of people do that. Not a lot of people let you plug yourself in.
Hey, man, when you're a Laker fan, we gotta help
this Lakerland, like this is how we.
Now, if you're one of those irrelevant teams like the Golden State Warriors, then you got no.
You don't get no love.
Yeah, you don't get no love.
or the Clippers. Yeah,
the Clippers. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yo, shout out to Rated R, bro. Rated R, I'm calling you out, man. I sunned you last episode. I recapped it. I sunned you.
Oh, yeah, Mookie. Yeah, Mookie from Rated R Sports. Yeah, you got you body there, young boy. Shout out to Mookie, though.
Shout out to Mookie. All love Mookie. I just wanted to say that.
Well, before we get into the next topic, let's check out Lakerland, see what the people have got to say. Shout out to everybody that's joining the live stream this evening, man. Make sure, again, y'all smash that thumbs up. Octavius in the building. Dan in the building. Brother. Dan, no doubt. Huncho in the building. Salute to Huncho. Huncho said, damn Saint. Yeah, man. He definitely not biased. How long have you been covering the Lakers, Dan?
What does diluted mean?
I guess they mean watered down, like somebody who just bandwagon probably doesn't know their basketball. I've been watching basketball for fans for years. Yeah. Not only am I a Laker fan, I'm a basketball fan. That's what Around the League is all about, man. It's all about basketball. So I can throw some punches when it comes to talking other teams as well. But yeah, Lakers, listen, I was born into this, man. My family been Laker fans since I was born. So shout out to them.
Yeah, sure. We Laker fans for life. So
Facts.
Yo, shout out to that.
Wow.
Y'all see the shirt, man? Y'all see the shirt?
You already know.
What was your reactions, Dan, to all the big news that happened last week? We got Dame going to Milwaukee, Jrue Holiday going to Boston. How you think that's going to pan out in the East?
I love it, bro. Personally, I think it's good for basketball when these trades happen. I mean, this is why I say that, you know, basketball is my favorite sport. It really doesn't really have an off season. I mean, we're going on about this during the summer. July is one of the most active months, and then now you get the trade right before training camp. My goodness, though, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to be a problem. It's going to be a fun to watch. The Celtics trading for Jrue Holiday, that's going to be a problem. However, I do feel they gave up just a tad bit too much. Had they kept Robert Williams, I think they would have looked a lot better personally. You know, especially if you look at the way the league is going, people are starting to load up on big men. And so, you know, if anything, their front line's a bit thin. They got to now really rely on Horford and Porzingis, who's always hurt. So, yeah, it's like there's a lot of question marks there. But the Bucks look dangerous. They give up Jrue Holiday and a couple pieces, Grayson Allen. It's well worth the price of admission for Dame. Well worth.
1,000%. And I'm gonna say it right now, that duo right there is gonna be a nasty duo. I don't want to say they're the best duo just as we haven't seen them. We haven't seen them just yet. But let's just look at the Nuggets and Jamal Murray and Jokic, the way they play. Two guys, two opposite styles of play. Jamal Murray cooks in the perimeter. Jokic cooks anywhere, but honestly, in the interior mostly. Now you bring a guy like Dame that averaged 30 points last season, with Giannis dropping 30 points last season. The only reason when Milwaukee lost in the first round was due to injuries. Now you're bringing a guy that is Damian Lillard that's going to help you out, and you still keep Chris Middleton. Watch out with Milwaukee. That team is going to be deadly. Now the Boston Celtics, I agree. They gave up a little way too much, but I do like Jrue Holiday a lot. I feel like that was just an answer to Milwaukee because I think it's obvious that these two teams are going to match each other in the Eastern Conference. And when that happens, I'm going to be sitting there with popcorn because I'm excited.
Facts. Oh, man. Hey, can you guys imagine?
No one's concerned about the coaching for Milwaukee? None of y'all concerned about the coaching of Milwaukee?
Honestly,
dealing with a first-year coach. Y'all sold.
I think it's a players' league, man. The way they plugged in Steve Kerr and that turned into a dynasty. It's a players' league. To be honest, I wish Mark Jackson would get more credit for the way he built up the Golden State Warriors. But you know, it's a players' league, and if you got the right pieces, we saw Frank Vogel come in right away. 2020, we saw what happened. They had the perfect coaching staff there. You know, with Ben Hollins and obviously Jason Kidd. So, but let's be honest, it's a players' league. You got the right players, man. You could plug me in, they might win a championship. You know what I'm saying? Plug me in, bro. Like. Who knows? I'm not saying that coaching doesn't matter. There's certain coaches that are stubborn in their ways and they can hold players back. But when you're talking about mega stars like Damian Lillard and obviously Giannis, then you're looking at a potential one-way ticket to the finals because those two players have at least Giannis has been there before, won a championship, and he, you know, the second best player was Chris Middleton. Now you're talking about a different magnitude of superstar and Dame. They both ain't never played with players like each other, so it's going to be interesting to watch for sure. What do I think about the new players?
Andy wanted to know from you, Dan, what you think about the new players.
I love them. I love every single acquisition. I thought coming into the offseason, the Lakers were going to make minor tweaks and bring back their core. And they actually did a whole, you know, what they added 5-6 players. And I'd say about 3 of those are going to be key pieces right off the top to be determined on the project players like Jackson Hayes and Cam Reddish, right? Because we don't know what they could turn out to be. However, we do got Phil Handy, fam, and Phil Handy is no joke.
Shout out to Kyrie. Kyrie loves Phil Handy. So I mean, a guy that is very uncoachable, and Phil Handy could go ahead and coach him, and he gives him the stamp of approval. A guy like Kyrie that is uncoachable, giving Phil Handy a coach approval. That shows you how good Phil Handy is. So yeah, it's crazy.
I want to ask LAKERLAND. I want you guys to take a look at something, and I want your honest opinion from people in the chat. Who should be the real solidified third person, the third go-to guy for the Los Angeles Lakers this season? Should it be Austin Reeves, AR-15, or should it be RuiHachimura? Who should be the solidified third piece with this Lakers team? Which one of these two guys? Let us know, LAKERLAND, in the live chat what your thoughts is. Who's the third wheel between these two guys? Who's the most important piece going into this upcoming season? What you think, though, Light Out?
7. I know I said Austin Reeves, but man, you know, all this news about RuiHachimura, I'm excited. I think, you know what? I really do think this Lakers not going to have a third option. I think we're just going to have a third random option each night because we got a guy as RuiHachimura that could take over a game if LeBron James and AD are struggling. A guy as Austin Reeves that has proved time and time again in the clutch, in tough moments that he could pull up. But let's not forget about D'Angelo Russell either. Yes, he's going to have one of those nights throughout the regular season, probably not as often as an Austin Reeves or a RuiHachimura, but let's not forget about D'Angelo Russell. Again, another guy that we signed that we haven't seen too much because of, you know, what happened through his career. Cam Reddish, is he going to buy in the minutes that he plays? Is he going to be the guy that could score offensively? Another guy, Christian Wood. So we got so many options that could be the third option. But if I had to say one of those players who could be more consistent between Austin Reeves and RuiHachimura, and I don't have an answer just yet, but as of right now, I'm going to stick with my pick. I'm going to say Austin Reeves.
I respect
That's
it.
a great pick.
Now, let me ask you another question, Dan, because, you know, we're talking about all these good things and projections and expectations that we have for our Lakers. How much pressure does that put on Darvin Ham to make sure that he does what he needs to do this season?
I think, yeah. I mean, anytime you're a Lakers head coach, there's a tremendous amount of pressure on you. You're always on the hot seat. You know, this franchise, whether it's fair or unfair, we always have the highest of expectations. It's technically every season feels like championship or bust, right? But except when you're rebuilding, of course. But however, he has everything a coach could ask for, right? As far as to compete for a title. He got the 2 stars, you got the role players, you got the up and coming youth type players, and you got the veterans. That is a recipe for championship. So if everybody stays healthy, I think it's a tremendous amount of pressure on Darvin Ham. And like I said, I just want to see the man continue to get improved. He's a heck of a preacher, man. He gets everybody to buy in. Shit, I bought in the first day, that I saw him at the podium. I was like, yep, this is our guy. But however, I do believe he has to learn how to make better in-game adjustments. There were times where he was going too small last season when I was really upset because I was like, come on, man, you have to adjust there. You're getting cooked by a big man, and you have LeBron playing the 5 at times.
And you got Westbrook. You have Westbrook, Looney Walker, and Austin Reeves as your point guard, shooting guard, and small forward. That got pissed to us. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but that really made me mad last season. So keep going, Dan.
No, absolutely, you're right, and I think a lot of us Laker fans felt the wrath, man. Like even in the finals, I was really bothered by the fact that we never really got to see Rui start to the last game, and it's like the first game, he looked like a revelation, fam. And you're a head coach. If you're an intelligent head coach, you have to be like, okay, right away, he's starting. Sorry, Vando, but they're daring you to shoot, and there's poor spacing with you out there. We got to go with the 49% from beyond the arc shooter who's locking up and actually playing good defense. Even on Jokic, at times he looks solid. So, and also we didn't get to see Tristan either. I was like, what? You got all these
Tristan played great. Was it with the Nuggets or I don't know what was, but he played the last 4 or 5 minutes of a playoff game. And he was doing amazing. He was getting rebounds. He was doing all the dirty work. And the reason we didn't even use him at all was crazy to me. Not only that, when they put in, to add to your point about RuiHachimura starting, as soon as they put RuiHachimura as the main defender on Jokic and having AD go and be the help defender, that made Jokic struggle just a little bit and make it more difficult for him. And still, they don't start RuiHachimura and they still start with Vando. Those are things, like I said, that could potentially put Coach Ham on the hot seat.
Yep, agreed. Absolutely.
Hot seat. Yep. All right, fellas, let's get into the main course of tonight's show. Let's talk about that guy, that man, Anthony Damn Davis. Let's have this conversation, fellas. Light out. Can Anthony Davis, with time traveling here, we're looking into the future. We're not talking about right now. Is Anthony Davis the type of guy who can literally lead this team to the promised land without LeBron James?
If injuries didn't exist, 1,000% you can. But we have to be realistic. AD is only getting older. I don't know how many years LeBron got left, right? Because we could say that maybe this next year or the following year is his last. But knowing LeBron James, I do see this man staying probably another season or two, right? So let's say he stays. Let's say that AD at this point. How old is AD, chat? Let me know in the comments below, or Dan, if you know, let me know.
30, right? I believe he's 30,
I think
right?
he's 30, right? So let's say if LeBron stays 4 more years, AD will be 34, 35 years old. Are you willing to but put all your chips on a guy on Anthony Davis? I think Anthony Davis is great. When he's healthy and when he's cooking, the guy is dangerous. He's a top 7, top 5 player in the NBA when he's going at it. He's a great defender and a great offensive scorer when he's going at it. But again, you got to ask yourself, when the body gets older, it becomes more fragile. And if it becomes more fragile, more injuries will happen. So no, I don't think that Anthony Davis could be the guy to win you solely like a LeBron James. But if you put him with a guy, right, like a point guard, a shooting guard, another small, and start taking the formulas that we're slowly seeing, Jamal Murray, Jokic, Dame, Giannis. I think this is something that we're going to start seeing more. 2 players that play opposite styles of games and putting them together. If you find a guy that, I'm just going to say Trae Young, just because the first guy that comes in my head, it could be another player. I'm probably missing one player, right? But I'll say Trae Young. You put a guy like Trae Young and Anthony Davis together, 2 guys that play completely different, and AD at least plays 55 to 60 games, and he could play the whole playoffs, then maybe maybe they could win a championship depending what their roster is. So that would be my only caveat.
I just don't see it, fellas. Like, he's a great player. Don't get it twisted. I just don't feel like he has the makeup to lead a team to the Larry O'Brien trophy. I feel like he can be a huge piece, very important factor. But being a sole number 1, I just don't feel like he has the makeup for that. I'm more or less going with light out with this one. I feel like he doesn't have it in him. Just not built like that. What about you, Dan? Do you feel like he's the guy that the torch could be carried over past LeBron and him actually can win a championship?
I'll say this. I don't want to doubt the man, right? Because injuries have played a huge part of it, but let's just subtract all the injuries from everything. And since he got here, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, we've been wanting him to take the torch. This is the reason we traded for him. We wanted LeBron to take a back seat to prolong his career in the long run.
That's a fact.
And we haven't seen it yet, so I cannot vouch for something I haven't seen. Anyways, I still think he is the Scottie Pippen of basketball. Like, he is the perfect 2 guy to go with a 1, right? So you put Luka next to him, it's a problem. You put maybe even Jason Tatum next to him, it's a problem. I don't know about Trae Young because he gets cooked defensively, and I love the guy. He's one of my favorite players. But he gets cooked defensively. But you put somebody who can really take over a game alongside AD, who can also at times take over games, that's when you have a problem. That's when you got 2 superstars, which is not a word I like to throw away loosely, right? Throw it around, but he is a superstar. Anthony Davis is a superstar, and there's only a handful of those in the league, right? So I give him his flowers, I give him his respect, but I think he is a Scottie Pippen caliber superstar, which means he's the perfect Robin to somebody's Batman. I don't think I'll ever see him become a Batman, but I would love it if he surprised me this year and said, "Shut the hell up, Dan," and he came out and he had an MVP / Defensive Player of the Year type season. That would be great.
What about him being a Laker great? Does he have enough time, and do you think he could produce enough to become one of those Laker all-time great players?
Is that for me or light? Oh, sorry.
Both of you guys.
I think, man.
Go ahead.
Go there. I'll go. Okay, look. If Paul Gasol is a Laker great, I feel like Anthony Davis is going to get to that point. I still think Anthony Davis is not in the same tier as Paul Gasol because, Paul Gasol had a great stretch with the Lakers. I mean, he's a legend for a reason. He won 2 chips with Kobe Bryant. I mean, Paul Gasol was the heart, not the heart, but, he was a great piece to Kobe Bryant, right? But I don't think it's far off that Anthony Davis, from Paul Gasol. I think Anthony Davis is maybe a championship away, maybe a defensive player of the year away. Who knows? Right. Maybe an MVP away. I mean, not saying that he will win MVP, but I think it's just so slim that from the gap between him and Paul Gasol when we're talking about Laker greats, that if Paul Gasol could be a Laker great, 1,000%, I do think that Anthony Davis could be a Laker great.
Yeah, I definitely think he's going to hang from the rafters for sure. I just think they came at such a pivotal time. If you think about it, we couldn't even get free agent meetings for like 7 years, man, due to, Mitch Kupchak and the horse racer boy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, we couldn't even get meetings. Here comes Magic. And, all of a sudden he reestablished the franchise. And all of a sudden you got LeBron and AD, and they turned this team around. They won a championship right away in 2020. So I think you got to factor in all of that when we're talking. And plus AD puts up the numbers for sure. Imagine, not having a Hall of Famer hang from your rafters. Lakers, he's going to hang there. Now, it would be a lot nicer if we see him at least in one parade, right? It would be nice because, that's how you connect with the fans, and that's how you endear yourself when they, do the parade and they connect with the city and all of that. So it would be awesome if we got at least one parade with AD and LeBron. But I think they will both be hanging from the rafters. And I don't see how, as a Laker fan, anybody should have a problem with it. It's like you're collecting greats on your wall. Continue to collect them, fam. It only will recruit even more, right? Even more. We got more than anybody. Whose wall looks better than ours, man? We're talking about greats.
No one.
Exactly.
But
so why
the Celtics are the only ones that challenge, but not really. Like,
man, listen, the Celtics greats all coming from the dinosaur era, fam. Nobody was watching basketball back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the black and white TV era, man. And this is the you know what I'm saying? Like from the 70s, 80s up. That's what I'm talking about. They got most of their greats from the 60s, man. Like when basketball was first invented. So the Lakers are just on a different stratosphere. And I always tell people, like, why do you have a problem with AD or LeBron hanging from our rafters when it's just like having a great sneaker collection, man? You want to have more, right? You don't want to stop.
That's exactly. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep it up.
But seven, I got a question. You didn't sound so sure about, AD being a great. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It was just your tone of voice. I want you to clear the room for us.
Because there's so many things to me that come into play outside of just basketball. Like, I think availability is going to play a role, but he got the extension. So I think as far as years go, he'll have a shot, but his availability is really going to determine, how we look at him. Like, he's going to have to be eligible for some all NBA teams. So he's going to have to play at least 60, 65 games. It's just going to be like a different expectation than what we've seen from Anthony Davis in the last 2-3 seasons. So that's gives me the cause to pause.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I'm not mad at that point at all.
I do think AD's gonna be a Laker great though.
You think so?
I think so.
I hope so. I don't want to.
I mean, the dude is a generational talent. I mean, you are looking at a guy that has the Giannis, well, not the Giannis build, but plays in the, like, he is, called, like, you talk AD, you talk Giannis, right? And then when we're talking about a two-way player, AD is a perfect two-way player. A guy that can play elite defense, and when he's going at it, and when he's on it, he could play elite offense as well. So we're talking about an elite basketball player. Give him more time, surely but truly. He's gonna be a legend. He's gonna be a Laker great. And like Dan was saying, it's like sneakers, man. You keep collecting them. Get LeBron, get AD's jerseys on the rafter. I don't care what you have to do. This is just the history of the Lakers. The history produced greats. LeBron and AD have already won a championship together. If they can win two, it shouldn't even be a conversation at this point. But yeah, man, you collect those sneakers, man.
Yeah, facts. And the way I see it, to be
basketball.
Honest, I'm sorry.
Go. I'm sorry.
The way I see it, to be honest, when it comes to players and Lakers retiring, those type of players, is they're putting up the numbers, right, of NBA greats. And so it would be a travesty if, let's just say, Anthony Davis, God forbid, knock on wood, but let's just say AD suffered a career-ending injury at some point, and he couldn't win another championship or make another All-Star team. If you just look at what he's done, his body of work up to this point, he's a Hall of Famer. And so it would be a travesty not to have a Hall of Famer hanging from the rafters when he won a championship with us. And he was, if you look at that championship, that's one of the most important ones in history. The bubble championship, the casual fans were disrespected, but the real hoopers, the ones that actually played in it, say how hard that one was and how high level of competition that was, where you had multiple 50-point games because guys were only focusing on basketball. They weren't distracted by nothing. Yep. There was no home court advantage. It was pure hoops. So, I think Anthony Davis, I think he's already gonna be hanging from the Raptors no matter what he does. Now, if he adds to that, I think it's no question. But it's okay to have hesitation about it. I understand your concern, but I just look at the body of work. And another thing is, if you could remove all the accolades, just think of their skill set. If you could pick Pau Gasol versus Anthony Davis, and you're the GM, who you starting your franchise with? If you can only pick one in their primes,
I'm going
right?
with AD all day.
Just prime.
Prime.
I'm going with AD. I'm going with AD.
Okay, all right, but the question, okay, let's get the question. I love Pop, but okay, but Dan, be more specific. Do I know who's gonna be available?
No, you just who are you starting your franchise? Who do you think is a better franchise player?
Okay, and off that, I'm going. Man, it's tough because Paul was that guy, but I'm going Anthony Davis because in his prime, like the best. And like you look at those Pelican years, I mean, he was the dog. So I'm going Anthony Davis. And
you can't go wrong either way. The only reason I asked this question is because one's already in the rafters, so I'm just looking at their careers, removing the accolades, right? That's all I'm saying.
Is Pau Gasol like the ceiling for Anthony Davis? Like when we're talking about the greatness, or like what other Laker greats can you say Anthony Davis could be better than besides Pau Gasol? If let's say he wins another championship.
No. At big man, that's it. To me.
Yep.
If he was a Laker longer,
right. I think he can be better.
Who else he going to shoot for? He can't shoot for Kareem. He ain't going to be able to shoot for Will. No. Like, who's he going to be able to shoot for?
None of them. But I do believe he can be better. I think he can be better than Shaq if he wins two. I'm sorry, not than Shaq. Than Pau Gasol if he wins one or two more championships. I think you put him up there because defensively he's better than Pau. The one thing Pau has over him is the passing ability and the high basketball IQ. That's it.
Yep.
But if we're talking about AD, I think he's just as good of a scorer. I think he put the ball on the floor just as good, and I think he's a better defender. So I give him the edge because of that. So but it's a great debate to have, to be honest with you. But I just the way I judge who should hang from the Raptors is, and I actually think there's a couple other Lakers that should be up there, right? But the Lakers are so great, they just don't hang role players as much as I'd like to see Derek Fisher and Lamar up there. They just don't do that because. Our wall, we'd have to build a new stadium for all the new banners, man, to be honest. What I'm saying? So we got to pick and choose the greats. And I do believe AD, personally, in my opinion, I think he classifies for that criteria, right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Talking about Anthony Davis, sticking with him, basketball is a team sport. But when you look at it, who would you say is that biggest rival one-on-one to Anthony Davis this upcoming season? Is it Nikola Jokic? Who's that one guy that Anthony Davis may want to target on this upcoming season when we talk about competition?
I think in media day he said it. I mean, he said it. We all know who it is. We all know, as Laker fans, we already know who we going after this season. And it's that guy in Colorado in the Denver arena. Like, it's Jokic. Jokic is the guy that Anthony Davis wants to play again. He's excited for opening night. He's excited to play them again because if they beat him, and all this talk that those Denver boys have been talking about ever since they won the championship. Because here's the thing about the Denver Nuggets, right? That I love Jokic. I love Jokic. Seven knows I love Jokic. But let's talk about the overall team, right? Those guys talk way too much. Yep. When they won the championship, they made it seem like it was the Lakers and they felt like they beat the Lakers in the NBA Finals. Yep. Not the Miami Heat. They didn't mention the Miami Heat just once. It was just the Lakers. So we live rent-free on them boys because what we did to them in the bubble. So I'm excited. I'm excited of what we're going to do to them. I'm excited to see AD dominate, and I just want AD to embarrass Jokic once. That's what I want because I know it's not going to happen every game. But if I can see it just once, then I'm like, yeah, that's right. Then I'm good. But it's definitely Jokic.
Me and Light out agreeing on everything. I'm gonna have to just invent something to disagree on because I'll tell you, it's got to be Jokic because, to be honest, on the way to the finals, the Western Conference run that AD had leading up to that Western Conference final series was historical. The numbers he was putting up, man.
It was MVP.
It was, and we were starting to say now he's the best big man in the league, and then he ran into Jokic, and all those talks went away immediately because we got swept. So if I'd be damned if anybody else is on my hit list if I'm AD because this man needs to get his get back, and he needs to take the reins as the best big man in the league because he has the potential to be that. Let's be honest.
Exactly.
Joel Embiid is the closest thing to what AD is as far as versatility on the offense and defensive end. But even he doesn't hold a candlestick to AD because AD's mobility is so much better, right? Like Joel is phenomenal, but he's built like a rock, man. The way he moves, he's out there like he's looking like a transformer. The way he moves, while AD kind of glides through the floor like a wing or a guard, right? It's different. We ain't never really seen somebody with this type of skill set have so much grace and power at the same time in the basketball court, because he has some of the swiftness and some of the finesse that Powell brought, but then he has some of the toughness and some of the grit that like a Kevin Garnett brought to the game.
1000%. Yep.
He's like such a beautiful mix, almost a perfect hybrid player. And this is why I think Laker fans sometimes get disappointed when he doesn't show up offensively or like the sweep, right? It's because we expect so much more from him. But this is why I think the Lakers went out and they grabbed a couple of extra big men to provide that insurance policy for the season, kind of like we had with Dwight and JaVale. And they're trying to recreate that of some sort. So, I cannot wait for the season, fam.
And another thing, Dan, like people like, when you just look at numbers, all you see is that 4-0, right? The Denver swept us. But AD had a game that he dropped 40 plus on Jokic. Let's not forget about that. There was a time that we were looking at AD, like, yo, hold up. If AD could play like this, we have a chance to win this series. So let's not forget that AD was also cooking Jokic in a particular game, not the whole series, but a particular game. He was giving Jokic that business. So I think AD has a sight on Jokic, and Jokic is gonna be that guy that's gonna be embarrassed by AD.
But fellas, can AD get his get back? Is he good enough to still get his get back?
Yes, and I believe that this is why we brought that insurance policy, man. And this is why me and you, Seven, we agreed that we'd like to see AD at the 4, because that's when he's really going to have the freedom to do whatever he wants. The reason why he doesn't want to play the 5, because he has to do all the dirty work down low. He's getting banged on, and then we expected him to drop 30 plus. That can't happen, man. Nobody's built like that, right? Even though he's been in the gym and all of that, and he could do it in spurts. That's why we would see him have one great game and then one not so much. Then again, like it was kind of like an up and down. What was that Stephen A. called him? Roller coaster, some corny shit?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
ain't no roller coaster. You can't get on that ride, Stephen A. He's gonna want to hop back on the bandwagon when AD goes off. But I'll tell you this: Anthony Davis has the dog in him. He just didn't have the help last year, in my opinion. And I think you get him that size, and now he's focused on the offensive end. Now he's gonna be averaging close to 30 if he's healthy. And that's what I can't wait. I can't wait for it.
I can't, dude. I cannot wait for that Denver and Laker game, man. I cannot wait.
Did Rob Pelinka make the right decision, fellas, by offering and giving AD this extension?
1000%. 1000%. Again, like Dan was saying, I feel like me and Dan have just been nothing but agreeing. Dan, I promise you, I've been trying to disagree with you this whole time, but I just can't. But
bring some haters in here, man.
I know.
I was ready to argue today.
Before I even
we're gonna let some haters come into LAKERLAND. We're gonna allow some haters to come into LAKERLAND. We're gonna get free admission starting next week. We're gonna let some haters come in for free.
Shout out to the biggest hater, ZZ Honcho. Thank God he's not here. I needed a break from him, bro. He be talking here with his delusionality and everything, man. But shout out to ZZ. But again, Jokic, you watch out.
The best thing you could do is solidify an asset, which is exactly what AD is. He's an asset moving forward, and even if it doesn't work out in 2 to 3 years, or let's just say in a year and a half, he don't want to be here no more. He wants to go to Chicago. You got him under contract. You could always get maximum value in return for a player like that. So regardless of whatever happens, which I don't think is going to happen, just worst case scenario, this is the best thing you can do, is sign him to that contract extension. And now look, everybody's happy. You're going into the season, no distractions, and they're focused on number 18. That's what you want.
That is one. And again, he's a rare player. He's a rare breed. And there's not a lot of ADs in the league, minus, Giannis. But him and Giannis maybe are the only two that really could play well offensively and well defensively. Who else? I mean, you have to secure that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what his stigma. Maybe he does get injured. Maybe offensively, sometimes he doesn't show up. But he's still a different breed. This is not just another player. So you can't really replace Anthony Davis with someone better. You can't in today's game. You really can't.
I agree. Again,
hypothetically, Los Angeles gets banned at 18 this season. Hypothetically, Anthony Davis is the MVP of the finals. Does that affect LeBron's legacy at all?
No.
By effect, do you mean enhance, or do you mean like does it put like some sort of a negative
impact in a negative way? If LeBron has another player that gets the Finals MVP.
Listen, Curry had he had 3 All-Stars on his team, all in their primes, and he had another Finals MVP with him, and they're still slurping him up like he's the second coming to something. I don't know, but yeah, listen, I'll tell you this, man. LeBron James, and we had the GOAT conversation a little bit earlier. This is why I think it's such a subjective topic, because you could easily make an argument that LeBron James is the GOAT just based off of the numbers, right? He's going to end up breaking every single record, probably in the NBA books. The assist record, he already has the scoring record. It'll probably, I don't know, the rebound. He's going to break a lot of records when it's all said and done. He adds another title to that. It's really going to be hard for me to argue that Kobe's my GOAT. I mean, he'll always be my GOAT regardless, because of the nostalgia value and because I saw the body of work and how he was a psycho on the basketball court and just an absolute, GOAT off of it as well. But I'll tell you, LeBron James is hard for me. When people come at me and they say, oh, LeBron is the GOAT over Kobe because this and that, I actually give it a thought. And that usually doesn't happen with me. You can't get me to second guess myself. So, and
then another thing to add to your point, in the point about Steph Curry, people are already saying he's the greatest point guard of all time. Although, he has changed the game and all, I give him all the flowers. I think he's done amazing things to this league. We forget that there was a Kevin Durant on that squad. We forget that there was a Klay Thompson, a Draymond Green. We forget that he wasn't the best player in the NBA Finals, particularly. Like, we forget about all these things, and we just want to give him the throne of, all right, you're better than Magic now. It doesn't work like that. So if we're gonna keep that same logic, if LeBron wins another ring and still perform, I'm not like, if LeBron drops like a deuce in the NBA Finals and 80's the reason they win, then yes, that could be a negative impact, but I don't expect that from LeBron. I still expect LeBron to drop his 25, 7, and 7. But if AD wins the NBA Finals and LeBron averages those numbers, you can't say much.
Still all good.
He won another ring. That's ring number 5.
Yep. And I do want to disagree with something here with that light out finally. He said, finally, I found something. I was looking, fam. I had my
final 3 minutes, man. That's crazy.
He said that Curry, changed the game in a positive manner. I disagree, man. I think Curry changed the way and I'll give him all his flowers. He's greatest shooter you ever seen. Not the greatest point guard as long as Magic Johnson existed. But greatest shooter, sure. Changed the game in a positive manner. Hell no. We got the All-Star game, prime example, man. These guys are, shooting half-court shots. They're not really playing defense. And that's the Steph Curry effect. I've seen kids at the park, man, just jacking it up, just hitting the side of the backboard. The Curry effect. That was never happening, growing up before Curry. So I actually think, I think Curry had a negative impact on basketball. And it's not his fault because he's that good, right? But I just, that's how I feel.
Dan, I'm going to be completely honest. I feel like you waited to disagree on something so I can make you come back on next show because we need to talk about this. I'm here. Next show, because you lucky, Seven knows how I get. If once I start talking, I can't stop. So I'm gonna respectfully just nod to what you just said and stay quiet, and we'll have you on next time, man.
To be
1000%.
No doubt, man. Episode number 9 is officially in the books. Lakerland, we appreciate you guys so much. Do remember to join us on Lakerland on the Players Choice platform every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Shout out again to our special guest, Dan, the Lakers fan. Dan, before we sign off real quick, bro, just let them know again where to follow you at here on social media.
Well, there it is, fam. Dan, the Laker fan. All my social media stuff is right there in the background. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. This channel is great, by the way, man. I had a blast on here with you brothers.
Appreciate you.
Make sure to hit the like button on this video. And we got Around the League, which is another side segment I have on DTLF, man, on the channel. Great segment, man. The panel's amazing. You got Empire Jeff, you got Christian, you got me, the GM. Go check us out at 7. We have an awesome conversation similar to this one. So tap in, fam. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for letting me plug in twice. That's a record for me, fam. That's a record.
Absolutely. All right, we about to sign off. We got 10 seconds light out. You got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to say that ZZ Honcho is my son. I cannot wait to be back. I won't be here the next 3 episodes. Remember, I'm going on a cruise. I'm going to Cancun to visit where Steph Curry and Kevin Durant are going to be. So do not worry. I'm going to be over there. and it's gonna be fun.
All right, Lakerland. Y'all stay safe. Smash that like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern. We are out. Peace.
Peace.